Today we're going to look at one of the very first Zoids games ever published, Zoids Mokushiroku for the Famicom, or the Nintendo Entertainment System in the West. Otherwise known as Zoids Apocalypse in English, this is a strategy game published by the Tomy Corporation on December 21st, 1990. It was then later released on the Wii Virtual Console in 2009. This game was the fourth Zoids game to be released in Japan, and the fifth overall. Before it came, Zoids The Battle Begins in 1985, Zoids Battle of the Central Continent in 1987, Zoids 2 The Counterattack of Xenobus in 1989, and Zoids Legend in 1990. While I'd love to cover these games in the future, at the moment Zoids Apocalypse is the oldest Zoids game in my personal collection, and thus it will be the one featured today. The game comes in a white and grey box, with the Zoids logo and Apocalypse in large bold letters on the front. It features a total of 32 different Zoids, which you can see listed in the instruction book that comes with the game. Now let's take a look at the game itself. It takes place at the tail end of the Intercontinental War, just before a meteor strikes one of Planet Z's moons. While there's not exactly a story mode to this game, you're able to play as either a member of the Gylos Empire or the Helic Republic during the Intercontinental War. Now just a quick note, there is an error in this game which labels the two teams incorrectly. If you choose the Gylos Empire, you'll be given a selection of Helic Republic commanders to choose from, and vice versa. Instead, think of it this way, the blue are the good guys and the red are the bad guys. Now, a key feature of this game is the option to choose between having the overworld action happen in real time or to make it turn-based, but I'll go into more detail about this later in the video. First and foremost, let's take a look at the story listed in the game's instruction booklet. In the year ZAC 2056, the battle between the Gylos Empire and the Helic Republic moved to the Dark Continent as the climax was approaching. The Republic began their all-out counterattack against the Empire using newly developed Zoids and technology. The Empire continued to take massive damage from the Republic's relentless attacks, and with the support of newly developed flying Zoids such as Orodios and Battle Cougar, the Republican troops eventually reached the Empire's capital. In response to the Republicans' fearsome counterattack, the Empire launched their newly developed Zoid, Gungulado, onto the battlefield, leading to a fierce aerial battle with Orodios. Among the to and fro of war, the president of the Republican forces, Helic, stood firm with determination and continued to push forward. However, with the appearance of the Gilvader, the tide began to turn in the Empire's favour. At that very moment, a massive ground-quaking Zoid made its debut, and in the blink of an eye, countless Empire Zoids were obliterated. This was the Republic's trump card, and what Helic had been holding out for, King Gojulas. And before its unprecedented destructive power, the Empire was slowly driven into a corner. However, as the life and death struggle between the two forces continued, a massive event would occur that would change the fate of Planet Z forever, for a massive comet from distant space was barreling towards Planet Z's solar system. That comet would proceed to collide with one of Planet Z's 3 moons, shattering it with the incredible force of its impact, causing shards of the moon to rain down upon Planet Z. The fragment became meteorites which hurtled down to Planet Z at overwhelming speed, coming down on the opposite side of the central continent. Having lost one of its moons, Planet Z's gravitational force was also thrown off balance, causing its axis to shift. On top of that, the impact of the meteors created massive explosions and craters countless kilometers wide across the planet. The impact caused seismic shifts and massive tsunamis, and the central continent was split into 3 pieces. Large parts of the dark continent of Nyx also sank into the ocean. The battle between the Helic Republic and the Gylos Empire came to an end. Now let's take a more in-depth look at how the game plays, as well as some of its features. The game itself features a total of 16 maps you can play on. Tournament on the Island, the Even Foothold, the Rock Trap, the Four Corners in the Mountains, Disillusionment, the Lake in the Mountains, Boundless Sands, Rising Islands, the Isolated Mountain Land, Dusk and Dawn, Corner to Corner, Try Your Luck, the Hard Road, the Rough Island, the Ghost Oasis. And as for the 16th and final map, the game uses a password system, and as such, with each map you complete, you will receive a password to unlock that map again another time. The 16th map is a secret bonus map that can only unlock once you finish all 15 of the normal maps and receive the password for it. Once you receive the 16th map password, reset the game and enter it to unlock the final map. As for the gameplay, there are several different map tiles and icons to be aware of during battle. These include mountains, plains, desert, forest, ocean, base, flagship Zoid, wild Zoid, and Mark II. You cannot move onto mountain tiles at all, but you can freely move around on plains, desert, and forest tiles. The ocean can only be traversed by flying Zoids, but they will take damage if you leave them on that tile for a turn. The base tile will heal your Zoids each turn it spends on the tile. The flagship Zoid is the enemy's leader. Defeat it and you win the battle automatically. Wild Zoids can be captured and converted to your side simply by moving one of your Zoids over to them. Lastly, the Mark II tile gives your Zoids an upgrade in attack power. Zoids can only move one space at a time, regardless of what type of Zoid it is, and occasionally the screen will shake. This means an earthquake is occurring. When an earthquake occurs, it changes up the terrain, so be on the lookout for newly created land bridges giving you access to previously cut off portions of land. Next is the actual combat of the game, which I can only describe as chaotic. Here's what the average battle in Apocalypse looks like. It occurs in real time regardless of what mode you play on, and each battle has a time limit of just 25 seconds before the battle ends automatically. In order to attack, you can use the A button for a regular attack, or press the directional pad twice in one direction for a body slam attack. Unique to a Zoid that's been upgraded with Mark II, you can press the B button for an extra boost of power. Lastly, I must mention that while this game is playable even if you don't understand Japanese, there's also a full English patch available. Thanks to the hard work of these translators you see listed here. You can enjoy this unique game for yourself. I'll leave a link to the patch in the description, so go check it out if you're interested.